It was a lot of good things and things to work on still, of course, but was really happy with the way Thomas came out and set the tone and threw the ball well for a freshman to come out and give us a good solid start like that and get through 5 was impressive, I thought. And then on the flip side of the ball, just, I've said it before, but that kid's a pretty good pitcher. Kate Pilchard's pretty dang good. And after the first inning, I'm like, man, we're in for a dogfight. That kid's going to be tough. It's going to be a low-scoring game, and we came out in the second inning and put some really good swings on a really good arm. So was extremely pleased with the offensive output, the way that they attacked the zone and were ready to hit. So that was exciting. To be able to put up some fireworks off an arm like that is exciting for the offense.
What does that signify, being able to hit off an arm like that, especially towards the bottom middle of the order? Arstetter, Jackson, Compton, all have huge days.
Yeah, that's when Campy has one hit and Contradas has one hit out of 17. I mean, that's the other guys are producing that gets me excited. So I was happy about that. And like I said, that kid's got a real good arm and has some good stuff. That's the guy that knocked out U of A last year in the regionals and shut them down, pretty well, and just is a real capable arm. So for us to come out and really, take it to him offensively was encouraging.
Thomas was really able to work with head of hitters, had good command on his fastball, but even his slider, throwing that for strikes. Was that something that you saw as a consistent thing in the preseason, and sort of was an expectation coming into tonight, or was that something that really just came together well?
No, there's a reason that we have him on Friday, and he's able to do that, and for a freshman to keep his composure the way he does, and change speeds when he needs to, and not get so into a pattern, I guess, it is good. He's able to change up guys and throw different pitches in different counts and keep them off balance. So, again, that's why he's on Friday as a freshman. So he does a good job with that.
Was there ever any question on how Thomas would bounce back after a couple of long innings on the bench?
No, I don't think so. He's a tough kid. He's mentally stays in there and stays focused pretty good. So, again, all those are factors as to why I felt confident going with him on Friday as a freshman. He just does an outstanding job of controlling the things he can control, and even with the longer innings, he was down there moving around and staying loose. So he's bred to be a starter. He's done that his whole life, and so I expected him to do what he did.
For freshmen
being on a pitch count and some of the other guys being on a pitch count, is that something you'd like to see maybe increase down the line? You'd like to see them start going longer as games go on? Yeah,
absolutely. This is our kids' health is paramount first and foremost. We take pride in trying to keep our arms healthy and build them up the right way. So coming into this game, we had a max pitch count on Thomas at 75. But we didn't want him up and down more than 5 times. So we figured if we could get him through 5, we'd be really happy. So regardless, even if his pitch count was a little bit lower than it was, we would have probably been 5 and done this first start. So we'll take that into consideration with most all of our arms. Just on the health of them is paramount. So we're going to need those guys to be healthy as the year goes on. So this is the way Sammy and I feel very comfortable ramping them up with this. Next outing we'll ramp it up to maybe it'll be 6 innings if we can get through 6, and maybe bump it up to 85, 90 pitches next outing.
Does that kind of tie into, you were sitting in here a lot last year talking about how past the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, you don't see them as freshmen anymore, you see them as just players. Is that kind of tying into what you see with this pitching staff?
It's going to have to be. We have no secret, we got a lot of freshman arms, and but hey, we're at the end of the freshman year, and after we get through a couple weeks of this and we get some jitters out, and I was positive about tonight, we were able to get some freshmen in there and get their feet wet on the mound, and hopefully get them over the shock so they'll be a little more comfortable next time out. That we're going to need those guys, and those are good arms. Halvey and Josh Butler are good arms that we're going to need down the stretch, and we got to get them experience. And I don't know if we can get them a softer landing than we did tonight, but we knew they were going to be amped up, and they'll get better as we move on.
Speaking of those freshman arms, 4 freshmen is what you had pitched for you tonight. Burns and Jacobs were really nails, and you just touched on Halverson and Butler. Got touched up a little bit. How do you keep their confidence up now?
They'll be fine. You know, the way the Halvey bounced back after, you know, that was my fault on the pitch call there. You know, Sammy and I were kind of going back and forth on what pitch to throw, and he asked me, and I said breaking ball, and boy, was I wrong. So I'll take the blame for that one. But the way Halvey bounced back, you know, got the next 2 hitters out, you know, great job. So same thing with Josh. You know, he gave up a couple hits and runs, but he bounced back and continued to pound the zone. You know, hits the first guy on the first pitch. It's like, oh boy, you know, here we go. But he settled in and at least pounded the strike zone. So you know, I'll take 2 walks out of 9 innings any day. And that's something we've been working on and stressing with our pitching staff. So, but you know, all in all, positive night and things to work on, but a positive night.
Willie, we know the offense was there, but the strikeout throw 'em out really set the trend, and I know that's something that you really have been working on.
Yeah, that's you know, we trust our catchers, but also, you know, that's part of what we try to accomplish as a pitching staff is giving our catchers an opportunity to throw guys out. You know, by being somewhat decently quick to the plate and we have them you know, on a time that we like to keep them below, you know, when they get to the plate, and give our catchers a chance to throw guys out. So that was a big momentum play in the game.
Now, the first pitch swinging tonight, is that a philosophy you've been able to instill in the team prior to the season, and how do you feel they executed in that area?
You know, it's more defined than first pitch swinging. You're looking for a pitch that you can do some damage with early in the count, and if that happens to be the first pitch, then go. The last thing we want is an offense is to be hitting behind the count all the time. You know, we're taught as pitchers are usually taught to get ahead, right? So, you know, if we're up there letting them get ahead, they're dictating the at bat, and we as an offense don't like that. I don't like that as an offensive-minded player. You know, I want guys to be in the box ready to go. If they get a pitch up in the zone and it's over the middle of the plate, and go, you know, swing, be ready to hit. Like that's the fun part of the game. So continuing to have the aggressive mindset, and you know, just so long as they're not overly aggressive and they're swinging out of the zone, that's when we can get in trouble. But look for a pitch over the plate and go.
Continuing to pour on runs throughout the game and continue to add to the total. Has this kind of shown like the relentlessness that this group needs to hold themselves to the standard that they want to play at to get to a place like Omaha?
Well, that's the standards of this place, is to be able to come out, and we're known historically of being a pretty dang good offensive program. And you know why is because we are, you know, hopefully fastball efficient and ready to attack the fastball if it's over the plate, and if there's a breaking ball that's up, we let it fly on that too. So you know, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel on hitting, but we're just trying to be really good at the basics and the fundamentals of it. So but yeah, a good start for our guys tonight, and hopefully we can build on it.
Coach, there were a lot of players prior to tonight who talked about how deep this offense could possibly be, 15, 16 guys deep. When you see how the outfield and how some new guys produced tonight, do you truly believe that the sky's the limit really for this offense, considering, like you said, the historical precedent of this program?
I do, yeah. I'm confident in our offense. You know, again, not to beat a dead horse, but when you put together a night like that off a good quality pitcher like that, it makes me happy. And let's not forget Nick McLean's not in that lineup right now. So we get that kid back, it really makes it 1 through 9 that there's no easy outs in that thing. So, and then like you know, we've talked about, we have several guys on the bench that are capable that you know we didn't see tonight. Eamon Lance, you know, Josiah Cromwick, Mario DeMera, those are all senior veteran bats that are capable of putting together good ABs, and they didn't get in there tonight. So you know, my biggest challenge is going to be feeding all those mouths and getting them in the game and keeping them sharp. So it's good problems to have, but on the same token, those guys are very capable of putting together good at-bats too.
And considering this is Thomas's first start, and considering this is his freshman season, how high is the expectation for Connor and for Tyler tomorrow and Sunday, considering they are technically veterans, or do you already hold them to the same standard you would say as Thomas, even though he's a freshman?
I mean, it's just the standard we hold the program to, no matter who's out there. It's just trying to go out and compete, work ahead, throw strikes, and attack the zone. That's what we're trying to do. And you can't control the results, you know. Thomas ultimately had good results tonight, but you can't always control those. So, you know, I expect Connor to go out and attack the zone tomorrow, work with good tempo, and throw a lot of strikes. And you know, hopefully we get the results that Thomas had tonight. But we'll see. You know, he's going to hopefully go out and attack the zone and see what happens.
What do you mentioned a couple weeks ago that you would ideally not want starters to see too many batters third time through the order. When you start to ramp them up, get the pitch count higher, how much will that be a consideration against some of these teams?
I think it's more just on how effective they are and how the stuff is continuing to play. Regardless if the velo is there or not, it's just a matter, you can tell from the side on this guy's starting to lose his finish on his pitches, those type of things. But as long as that's still there and they're continuing to be effective, we'll keep rolling them out there.
How much are you aware of Thomas's? He talks about mental imagery to sort of like prepare himself. Said he had seen every at bat sort of, or imagined it with each hitter on that Santa Clara team. What about his preparation sort of stood out to you last, since he joined the program?
There's a reason he's on Friday night. So he does a lot of things good, and he prepares himself as good as anybody, and he's mentally tough as anybody we have. So again, that's why I like him on Friday night, because he believes he's going to be good, and so do we.
You talk about the importance of Keenan Boo's offensive success and being able to remain in the lineup, and having him at the ninth spot, and then also having Harris Williams, another outfielder, in the leadoff spot. How do you feel both of those guys are helped to round off the lineup and make it click?
I think as long as Kean sticks with his approach and does what he's capable of doing, that's another elite base runner we get in the lineup. He's a good bunter, can move runners, that type of thing. So, I anticipate him I expect him to continue to put together good at bats and be productive. Harris Williams has been outstanding since the minute he stepped on campus for us. Just continues to get hits, and without a doubt, he's our leadoff hitter and a guy that sets the table and is able to run and do some things with speed and handle the bat. So, those two guys right now at 9 and 1 in the lineup that roll over for each other. That's what we hope to have down there and up at the top.
What are your thoughts on Karstetter's performance at second base tonight and his role at second base moving forward?
I thought offensively, obviously had a great night, 3 hits, and wasn't overmatched, and did an outstanding job defensively. I think he had a handful of plays there that he made. He's solid, very solid. But again, those are the expectations for him. So he earned the starting job because he was very solid with his offensively and defensively, and did what we expect him to do.
They told us Carlone was rapping. Did you feel like everyone was kind of nice and loose tonight?
If you listen to his raps, you'd be loose too. He's Carlone is quickly becoming one of the favorites in that clubhouse just because of his personality is infectious, and guys love being around him. And he was amped up today to get in the game, but we ultimately didn't need him tonight, but he'll be hot tomorrow.
Was it nice to be able to close that down at the end, not let it get any closer, and not have to worry about using him?
I never really feel warm and fuzzies and overly comfortable, I guess. This game has taught me as soon as you feel comfortable, all of a sudden something happens and then you get caught in a panic. So, but having that reassurance that we didn't have him or didn't have to use him or Gibby. Gibby started kind of playing a little bit of catch there, but having those two guys available tomorrow and Fitzy and Matt Teeding, having all those guys available tomorrow is good.
3 hits. What's the biggest difference from one opening day to the other?
I'm just really confident going into this year. I adjusted the work I put in this off season, so I'm just ready to get going. Super excited.
What about the scouting report from Pilchard? Let you take him deep, hit a double off him?
He just was a lot of heaters, and obviously I'm a fastball guy like anybody else would. So I just was ready for the heater. Got one right down the middle first at bat, and then worked a couple pitches the next at bat, and just got another good one to hit. So.
Whole lineup, yourself included, swinging at the first pitch early and often. Is that whole team philosophy right there?
Yeah, we had a couple of scrimmages where we'd have some. We had to run like pulls or something if we didn't swing at the first pitch fastball if it in the zone. So that's what we're supposed to do here. We're supposed to be aggressive and early in the count with fastball. So yeah, definitely.
Was that a point of emphasis with a pitcher of their stature that came in having, I'm not sure you knew this, but in basically 20 or so innings last year, he gave up 7 earned runs.
Really, I actually didn't know that, but I mean, we just did our scouting report, and he just was a lot of fastballs really in the count, and you know, he was usually going away. He didn't like to come in on lefties a lot, so I was just ready for it and got out over the plate. A lot of our guys were ready for it, so yeah.
More confident this year on opening day than maybe last year.
100%. I just trusted myself and understanding I belong here, because last year I was super nervous and just like didn't know what was coming, but I was definitely ready this year.
What were your thoughts of Thomas's performance tonight?
I mean, unreal. That dude can chuck it, and he was usually he lives off his heater and struggled a little bit getting up in the zone, but he just went back to a slider and it was just in the zone and often, so really good.
There are a lot of new faces this year. 27 new players are on the roster. Was it difficult to adjust to a new locker room, or did you manage to connect with everyone pretty quickly?
I feel like we did a good job in the fall. You know, our very first day of practice, we had like a devil's challenge where it was just a tough 115 degrees, and we ran 2 miles, did a bunch of stairs and stuff, and it instantly gave everybody on the team something to bond on in the locker room. So it was just right to talking and bonding. So I think we just, right from the start, we're just good clicking.
Thomas, was there any nervous energy out there at any point today?
I mean, yeah, you gotta deal with it and adapt, and you know, just figure it out and ways to work through it.
What about sort of the strong start attacking hitters sort of allowed you to get in a rhythm and sort of settle in out there?
For me, starting ahead is the biggest thing. And you have many options to go with. Like early in the game, it built a lot of confidence, I feel like, for me, when things were going well. And then when things went bad, obviously, I slowed down and reset, I guess flushed it, whatever just happened, and on to the next guy.
We just talked about it yesterday about the need to, you know, give up the big hit and then keep going. That was something that maybe last year's team didn't do so well. Do you feel like you did that really a lot better tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like everyone that got hit around a little bit or whatever, they all bounced back. We all bounced back pretty good today. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for tomorrow.
How did you feel just about your stuff and how it was working tonight, what you were wanting to get to and able to get to?
Yeah, I mean, everything was working really well today. Pretty amped up, but excited to get the first one under the belt. So.
You were in the dugout for a very long time during that second inning when it just felt like it just wouldn't end and all of the offense from people like Isaiah and others such. But I mean, what were your mind process going in the second inning when you knew going to the third you were going to have that big cushion of insurance, I guess?
I mean, for me that's huge. Like, pitching when it's even is definitely a lot harder than pitching when you're up a ton. So you can pitch a little more relaxed and like just pound the zone and trust that the defense will make plays.
Thomas, as I was saying, how you usually live off your fastball. Breaking stuff is working really well tonight. How did establishing your fastball allow you to really mix in your stuff well?
I would say just, I mean, my slider would definitely be like my pitch that I can get whenever, wherever. And obviously, like, my other off speed was working really well tonight, so that really helped a lot. So.
Brandon, being a redshirt freshman, didn't play last year. First hit of the Sun Devils, a home run. What does that mean to you?
It was huge. I mean, just makes you feel like all the hard work you did paid off and stuff. So it's game one, we won, and keep moving forward.
How does this feel to, be back out on the field again and be able to have that kind of performance tonight with a group of guys rallying around you?
It feels good to play meaningful baseball again. I mean, summer ball is fun and stuff, but playing for a school and the state is awesome. So.
Isaiah, too, you agree with being able to get back after your summer experience as well?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no better feeling than wearing the Devils across your chest. So it was super fun. The boys behind you, and we're a lot of energy today. So it was super fun.
Continuing to pour it on against an opponent that made a regional last year, is that just part of the higher standard that you guys are trying to live up to this year and to achieving the Omaha dream?
100%. I mean, last year we just fell up short just by possibly one game. So we're just full throttle this year because people at the selection show don't really like us much. So we got to prove it to them.
Thomas, what was your process throughout the week in terms of strength training or just your routine? How sort of similar was it to recent weeks? Was it constant things that sort of allowed you to, get familiar with how you would be prepping?
I would say building up in the inner squads, just adjusting to hitters like one of the top lineups in the country, I would say. Just having to face them day in, day out. And then just like the mental side, like mentally preparing every night, like every hitter that I faced out there today, like I've already faced in my head before, so it's just easy. So you know everything that's going on.
Is that the mental imagery you're talking about the other day? Yeah, so in sort of your prep and watching this team, the Santa Clara team, lots of good hitters on that team. What was, how often is that sort of imagery thing? Is that like a nightly thing, or just, or what are some of the details behind that?
Yeah, I mean, I like to do it every night. I watch like a 10-minute Brian Kane video. I just think that really helps me lock in, like, every single day. I come to the field, I know exactly what I'm gonna do, and I've been there before, so.
For all of you guys before the game started, was there out in right field? Was that a little team prayer kind of thing that you guys were doing?
No, Carlone was rapping.
there was a prayer before that when everybody's on a knee with their hands around each other, and then we had Carlone. Yeah, he was rapping a little bit, getting us hyped. So.
Freestyle? What was
Yeah, I mean he likes. So our first scrimmage in the fall against the team against San Diego, he was just like, guys, I got a rap for everybody, and he's just one of those clubhouse guys everybody loves. So like it just got us super excited and got us going. So he wanted to do it again today, obviously. So.
You
So that's
gonna
not
do
a
it again
freshman
tomorrow?
punishment? That's
No. He wanted to do it, and we wanted him to do it. So.
You gonna let him do it again tomorrow?
If he wants it, he's got it.
Yeah, Bernardo talked about that yesterday, how he's kind of like sneaky funny, but doesn't always show it. Is that kind of his personality you described?
Yeah, I mean, he's just a goofy guy, just long levers. He's always super goofy, but he's just really funny. Like anything he says, it just be out of nowhere, and we're just all laughing.
Brandon, you were one of many people who mentioned in the preseason about how deep this offense could be, about 15, 16 guys deep, and the ceiling that it could have.
Yeah.
Obviously tonight's one game, but 11 runs. I mean, what is the ceiling you feel like for this offense?
I mean, today's like the expectation. I feel like just aggressive, just continuously just pouring on runs and hits and just quick runs. That's what we expect.
Isaiah or Brandon, sometimes it can take a while for you to start to see the ball well at the plate. How does it feel to just right out the gate start out hot like this, and what do you think that does for you going forward this season?
I think it just starts in the scouting report, and kind of like what he was saying, just mentally preparing yourself for what you're going to see. Because if you watch enough video, you know exactly what's going to come, and I feel like we did enough of that and understand that guy's a fastball pitcher and just ready for that heater.
Thomas, how much did getting that early lead help you settle in through that first 2 innings?
I'd say my first college outing, it's definitely helped a lot. Like knowing that the defense and the bats got my back, and anything that happens, they're always going to be there.
Thomas, Peraza said that the reason you were out there starting was because, part of it was because if you allowed a run, or if the team allowed a run, you were not going to get discouraged. How did you respond when John Bering hit that first home run?
I mean, you just got to bounce back. Hitters hit. I mean, like the whole staff today even came back, and everyone bounced back good. I thought all the mental side that's everyone's been putting in paid off today.
What'd you make of Bering's night? He had a couple of home runs. He only had one last year.
I mean, he's good. He can hit.
Actually, our scouting report on him was play him in a little bit, play him a little pull side, and because he only hit one home run last year, so we weren't expecting that. So.